Over the past few weeks, Ukrainian bloggers and numerous Telegram channels have been in a very bad mood. Almost every day, war correspondents report on the new territorial losses of the armed forces of Ukraine along the entire combat contact line. The situation of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Avdiivka direction of the front also continues to deteriorate rapidly. On June 11, 2024, war correspondents confirmed that Russian troops had completely captured the strategically important settlement of NOVOALEXANDROVKA. According to them, on June 11, at 10 a.m. Moscow time, Russian troops hustled the remnants of the Ukrainian army out of the western outskirts of this village. Most likely, the Russian Defense Ministry will officially announce the liberation of Novoalexandrovka after this village is completely cleared of the remnants of Ukrainian troops. By the way, according to the latest data, the Russian army has already begun to clean up this village. The capture of Novoalexandrovka will allow the Russian army to get as close as possible to the highway that connects Konstantinovka and Pokrovsk. By the way, it is precisely through this highway that the Ukrainian High Military Command supplies the grouping of the armed forces of Ukraine located in Chasiv Yar. At the moment, Russian troops are only 5 kilometers away from this highway. Moreover, war correspondents confirmed that the Russians had already begun shelling this highway, to significantly impair the supply of Ukrainian troops in Chasiv Yar. Thus, as you can see, the loss of Novoalexandrovka by the Ukrainian armed forces further worsened the situation of the Ukrainian army not only in Chasiv Yar, but also in other areas of this direction of the front. In turn, the Ukrainian General Staff recognized the situation in this sector of the front as extremely difficult. According to the Ukrainian military, Russian troops are advancing on a 20-30 kilometers wide front. By the way, I noticed that against the backdrop of numerous failures of the armed forces of Ukraine on the battlefield, the Ukrainian and Western media began to avoid reporting from many directions of the front. Mostly, Ukrainian and Western media cover the events in the Kharkiv direction of the front and the city of Chasiv Yar. Moreover, even the loss of the strategically important settlement of Rizivka in the Sumy region by the Ukrainian armed forces did not force the Ukrainian and Western media to start talking about events in other areas of the front. Surprisingly, the Ukrainian media even ignored the loss of such a strategically important settlement as Staromaersk, in the South Donetsk direction of the front. Furthermore, Ukrainian journalists have also stopped reporting on the situation of the Ukrainian army in the city of Krasnogorovka, which, according to war correspondents, should come under the full control of Russian troops in the coming days. By the way, military experts from numerous Western analytical centers also recognize the terrible situation of the armed forces of Ukraine in Krasnogorovka. According to them, the Russian army is advancing in Krasnogorovka in 2 different directions at once. In particular, war correspondents recorded the seizure by Russian troops of several buildings in both the eastern and western parts of the city. All this indicates that the defense of the armed forces of Ukraine has completely degraded in this locality. Commenting on the situation in Krasnogorovka, Western military experts recognized that the loss of this strategically important settlement by the armed forces of Ukraine would lead to huge territorial losses from the Lozova River to the Karlovsky Reservoir. From the point of view of military tactics, it would be more logical for the Ukrainian High Military Command to surrender Krasnogorovka to the Russians. This would allow the Ukrainian army to avoid a chaotic retreat from this settlement and save the lives of thousands of its soldiers. In addition, the armed forces of Ukraine would also receive the opportunity to plan an effective defense and prevent the loss of vast territories to the north and northwest of Krasnogorovka. I am absolutely sure that all this is well understood by the military leadership of the Khortytsia Group and personally General of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Yuri Sodol. However, the propaganda of the Kiev regime does not allow the Ukrainian military to surrender cities, even in order to save the lives of the Ukrainian soldiers. An illegitimate president of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, thinking only about the information image, forces the Ukrainian army to fight to the last Ukrainian. Meanwhile, after the liberation of the strategically important settlement of Staromaersk, in the South Donetsk direction of the front, Russian troops began attacking the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in the village of UROZHAINE. Just a few minutes ago, the Russian military released footage showing dozens of BM-21 GRAD multiple launch rocket systems, literally wiping out a huge area in the center of this village. As it turned out, a few minutes before, a Russian reconnaissance drone recorded an accumulation of major Ukrainian forces and so-called foreign mercenaries in this village. The reconnaissance drone immediately transmitted the exact coordinates to the Russian military, and just a few minutes after this action, that section of the village was wiped off the face of the earth. According to the Russian military, as a result of this missile strike, more than 100 Ukrainian militants were killed, including foreign mercenaries, many of whom were active duty soldiers and officers of armies of NATO countries. By the way, after the video of the destruction of Ukrainian and NATO forces was plastered on social media, many Ukrainian Telegram channels admitted that the village of UROZHAINE would soon repeat the fate of Staromaersk, and also be captured by Russian troops. In general, Ukrainian war correspondents and experts are mostly depressed. They reluctantly admit that the complete defeat of the Ukrainian army is just around the corner.